Can narcissists develop empathy? This is a very prominent question being asked by somebody who's lived with a narcissist for a long period of time, or for somebody who's worked under a narcissist, or for somebody who's himself a narcissist. Namaskar, I'm Dr. Meenu, helping you better understand yourself, your relationship with others, and also understand the toxic people around you so that you keep your guard open, do not allow them to enter your life, you learn to tackle with such kind of people and live safer as well as lighter on your journey on this beautiful planet. So today's question about whether the narcissist can develop empathy or not is a very kind of complex and difficult question. I'm going to answer this question from two perspectives. One, from the medical science point of view, and another from the spiritual point of view. In both the cases, I have done immense research, read a lot of articles, read a lot of books, and gone through several videos of some of the people who are doctors, and in some cases even those who are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, to give you a fresh perspective on whether these people can be helped to develop empathy factor or not. Now, to start with, when we talk about narcissism, I am sure by now we have a clear understanding of what narcissism exactly is. It's a disorder in which, due to childhood abuse, the person loses the ability to have empathy towards other people, and because of this loss of empathy, the person has develops two images in his mind. One image is a traumatic child who's extremely low in self-worth, extremely unsafe, unprotected, and does not love himself. And the other image that the person develops is what he shows to the outsiders. That image is basically to protect that traumatized child, and that image that he shows to the other is very confident, very manipulative, very arrogant, very, I would say, full of anger, rage, and kind of authoritative and superior. If you've ever had a chance to live with a narcissist, or had an encounter with a narcissist as a co-worker or as a boss, you would exactly know how they mess up your mind. They have the capability of messing up the minds of their people. And the sad part is that, very unfortunate part is that they themselves have no idea that they manipulate and control people. For them, this is how they safeguard themselves, because that traumatic child was convinced during the abuse that the world is a very unsafe place, the world is very dangerous place, and I'm unprotected. I'm unprotected from my own caregivers, so how can I trust anybody who's not my caregiver? And therefore they have very low level of trust. They become so self-consuming in their actions that they start every relationship with extreme low level of trust, and because of their manipulative tactics, because of their controlling tactics, people tend to leave them sooner or later. They tend to abandon them, and then the narcissist at that point of time always convinces his mind that I was right in thinking so. Eventually people do leave. So he does not have that ability to even understand the cause and effect. For him, it is never that I was misbehaving, or my behavior was not right, I am not treating people properly. He will never think that way. He will only think how people react to his misdeeds or his unkind behavior. He'll always say, see, I always think and assume that people are going to leave, and this is what happened at some point of time. He exploits your vulnerability, in the sense the narcissist initially would always try to gather more information about you, and every information that you share within first few months will be used against you to manipulate you at a later stage. So be very careful of what you share with strangers, unknown people, or those people whom you're just getting to know. Give some time, gradual, be slow in making relationships, because you never know who's the one who's like a predator looking for a prey. You might become prey to some predator. Now, coming back to the point, what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? So sympathy is something where you feel sorry for the sufferings of others. You look at the other people suffering and you feel sorry for it. Whereas empathy is one notch higher. It's when a person feels extremely the same pain that the other person is feeling. So it's like putting yourself in the other shoes and getting the hang of the same emotion that a person must be going through when he's suffering stage. So sympathy is a little more of a superficial emotion, whereas empathy is a very internal emotion. As per the literature, narcissists cannot empathize with others. They have no idea that every time they are being unkind to others, every time they hurt others, they end up causing pain to them. They do not understand that. They cannot understand. In fact, narcissist is basically a 4-year-old kid who is completely in a stage wherein he throws tantrums towards his mother, who wants what he wants. If he wants the toys he wants, and once the toys are given to him, he may just throw them, break them apart. He is like a child who wants an attention of, he's an attention seeker. He wants attention of his caregivers, and for that attention, if you have ever handled a 4-year-old toddler, you would know how difficult it is to be around a 4-year-old who's constantly seeking attention, and in some form or the other, in terms of what he wants to eat, what he wants to play, when he wants to sleep. It's a havoc, and it's the same kind of a relationship that a person will go through if he or she is the primary victim of a narcissist. So I'm sure the difference between empathy and sympathy is clear, and once we will go down to the second point, that is, can they develop empathy as in terms of medical science? Now, I have gone through the literature where some of the people who are themselves narcissists, for example, Professor Sam Vaknin, who is a famous psychologist who has written a lot of books on narcissism. In fact, you can credit him with several terms that he has coined for narcissism, including narcissistic abuse. This man has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder twice in 15 years. And he goes on to say that narcissists are robots. He himself says that he cannot feel the pain of others. In fact, he cannot feel any feelings at all about how the other person must be feeling at some point of time. So that is why we have to credit the fact that if there is something which is coming from a narcissist, it has to be true and authentic. He also says that we can't remain consistent in our effort. So that is the reason anybody who's close to narcissist will find some days very high and some days very low. That's how they say. He says that we tend to get bored with the same routine. So we can't stick to the same effort, same energy, same routine for a long period of time. So narcissist tends to get bored of people, places, situations very soon, and that is why you'll find a lot of ups and downs in their behavior. And the funny and interesting part is that the day narcissist is in a high mood, he would expect people around him to be very happy, happy-go-lucky and in a good mood, and the day narcissist is not in a good mood, he does not accept people enjoying themselves, especially his near ones, his near and dear ones. He does not like them having fun. He does not have the acceptance that if he has somebody who's very close to him and the person talks to somebody whom he doesn't like, so you have to have, it's always like walking on the eggshells. You have to keep on judging his reactions, his feelings, his emotions. He may not understand your emotion, but you have to keep anticipating his emotions. And his ego is so fragile that even your tone can hurt him. So very strange, it is very strange for the victim, because what happens is usually when we are in a relationship, we expect that if I treat people right, people will treat me right. If I am unkind to them, they'll be unkind to them. This does not work with narcissists. Even if you're very kind to the narcissist, you will be flabbergasted at few points of times when you see that your kindness has no value to him. He still would expect you to miraculously work hard to satisfy him and work according to his mood swings. So on holidays, if you go on special occasions like birthday parties and all, you'll find that mood swings getting in a very extreme rage. Somehow the days when he feels that he's not getting enough attention are the days when his rage and other negative emotions come out. So by the till the time the narcissist is sure that he's getting constant attention from people around, he's in a okay mood, and the moment he feels that the attention is not given, his mood goes off. And also it all depends on, as I said, the boredom sets in very soon. So till the time he's enjoying the day, it's fine. The moment he's bored, and people are like commodities for him. People are not human beings with feelings, with emotions, with heart. He does not treat people like that. People are like commodities who can be replaced very soon. The moment he gets bored, he would like to replace the people with other people, as in like puppets. So in terms of science, there are several doctors who go on to say that it is not possible for the narcissist to change. The reason is primarily no narcissist, because narcissists live with grandiosity factor, as if I am next to God, so I am the superior one and everybody is inferior to me. And that is why you'll find narcissists in highly authoritative positions. So with that mentality, when somebody thinks that I am superior and I'm always right, I am the one, I'm the gospel truth, I'm the one who's always right. So for that kind of person to accept that he has narcissistic personality disorder, some kind of mental disorder, is a Herculean task. It is not an easy task to achieve. Now in some cases, if at all, because in some cases what happens is when the narcissist goes for a couple therapy, because they do not have healthy relationships, they can never have healthy relationships, whether in office or in home. They only have fans, enablers. They are known as enablers, who because of their position may for some point of time obey them and pray, it's kind of, they become prey to them, but the stage keeps on changing, the actors keep on changing, so they have new enablers every few months, every few years, because they obviously cannot maintain long-term relationships. Their mask slips sooner or later and people leave them, abandon them, and all this drama they create is because they're fearful of abandonment. Still people abandon them and leave them. So as per the psychotherapist, they first of all, they will never accept that they have any kind of disorder. In case it is diagnosed during some kind of couple therapy, or sometimes the narcissist goes to a psychotherapist for depression and anxiety. Yes, they suffer from severe anxieties and depression because of all the mess that they create in their own mind and in their own life and others' lives. So if they go to a psychotherapist and they're diagnosed with a narcissistic disorder, they will never accept it. They will always be in denial. And let's say the psychotherapist or their near and dear ones do convince them to start the therapy sessions. They, in all probability, first thing, they will not accept that they need any therapy. Just in case, to probably, if somebody is really leaving them, it happens when, let's say, their spouse is threatening them to leave them. That is the case when they, to create that impression that I'm ready for therapy, they might go for therapy. And when they go for therapy, the psychotherapists very interestingly say that they go for the therapy sessions, they listen to the psychotherapist, and in their mind they are ridiculing the therapist, thinking that, oh, she's so inferior to me, I'm so superior to her, and they're sort of mocking and making fun of the therapist. After a few sessions, they get bored and they stop going to the therapist. So the final conclusion, where the therapist is able to help them reach out to their own emotions, their own past, dig out the past, resurface that wounded child, help them resurface that wounded child, and address the core wounds and sort of heal their own past, is not possible for any psychotherapist. It's also because one thing is they get bored with the sessions, and another, dealing with your own traumatic past is very painful, and the narcissist would never like to deal with those painful emotions, because he's already closed off. He's closed those emotions long back. He would not like to open those doors again. For him, I'm in a happy space right now, because he doesn't know that by creating all that havoc, he's creating a facade everywhere and creating mess in everybody else's life, and not able to have healthy relationships. For him, the people are at fault, I am not at fault. It is the basic fundamental with which narcissist operates, that people are always at fault, I am not at fault. So for him to deal with those complex emotions, for that traumatic past, is a very big task, and in all probability, first of all, he would not like to address that, and in case he starts addressing it, he'll start making fun of the therapist, and then gradually gets bored and stops going for the therapy session. In some cases, some therapists even go on to say that some of the narcissists, because they need supply. What kind of supply? That fuel which comes from other people's admiration. And usually therapists are very kind people. They are the people who look at others in a very non-judgmental manner. So the narcissist, if he goes for the therapy session, they start enjoying the attention that they get from the therapist, as in the therapist looks at them in a very non-judgmental manner, tries to listen to them, which of course they love. They love people who listen to them, but they do not like people who unnecessarily kind of try to teach them, or try to preach them, or try to give them some advice. They do not like that. So in those therapy sessions where they feel that they are the ones who are the talkers and they are allowed to speak, they just start loving that. But in any case, in between, they tend to leave the therapy sessions. They do not take it to the final conclusion of actually addressing their complex emotions and working on them. Another perspective to the same coin, another side of the same coin, and that is spiritual perspective. From the spiritual perspective, I follow a world famous spiritual leader, Kristina Lopez. She's a doctorate in physical therapy and masters in public health. Yet her understanding of spirituality is so deep, so immense, that you can't help but falling in love with her spiritual practices. In fact, she's one spiritual leader who's, despite being a Westerner, she's in love with Hindu philosophy. And there's a lot of things about my own Hindu philosophy which I have learned from her. For example, she talks a lot about balancing the 7 chakras that we have. in fact, before I started following her, I didn't even have much of idea about what these 7 chakras are, what these energy centers are, and how to balance these chakras for a better living. But because I have myself followed her practice and I have seen drastic change in my own personality, so I couldn't agree more with what she says about narcissism and whether they can develop empathy or not. Now, from the perspective of Kristina Lopez, she says that everything is energy on this universe. Energy as in, if we talk about narcissists and codependents, both are low in energy level, in the sense that narcissists also operate from a low vibration, and codependents or empaths, they also operate from a very low vibration level. Both of them are low in self-love and self-worth, but the way they gain this self-worth is different in both the cases. As in, the codependent thinks that the only way I can have self-worth is by giving away my power to others and by being of value to others, by pleasing the people and gaining some kind of admiration and accolades from them. Whereas for the narcissists, it's the other way around. Narcissist also deep within in his subconscious mind has very low sense of self-worth, which he hides in the form of false sense of self-worth, and he thinks that the only way I can gain this self-worth is by manipulating, controlling other people, and by snatching this self-worth from others. So that is the reason both of them, operating from this low vibrational energies, fit together as a perfect piece of puzzle together. So here in this video, because I am talking about narcissists, whether they can develop empathy or not, Kristina Lopez very confidently says that yes, narcissists can develop a high level of empathy, but the major foundational stone which needs to be remembered and kept in mind is the same as in the case of medical science, that the narcissist first has to accept that he is a narcissist, he or she is a narcissist, first thing. And secondly, they have to be open to identifying the patterns that they face in their life, as to why can't they have relations, healthy relations again and again as a pattern, why do they why do people abandon them, why do people leave them. So if they have a flashback of their life, and rather than blaming all those people who left them, if they get into that acceptance mode that some problem lies with their own behavior, then probably if they accept that they need some kind of therapy, the positive results can be seen. Because in the first case, medical science will give you a psychotherapist who can help you heal, and in case of spirituality, it has to be self-healing. It is the process where you have to work on yourself, and then working on yourself would require, in both the cases, whether it is medical science or it is through spiritual practice, the hard work has to be done from your end, and the pain that you have to go through, you have to be acceptable to that pain, you have to be open to that pain. And as even Dr. Gabor Mate goes on to say that in case of healing, in case of mind healing, in case of your childhood trauma or core wounds healing, it's not like an operation where first you will be given anesthesia and then you will be operated upon. Here, no anesthesia is given. You have to, in fact, go through that pain, and that feeling of anesthesia comes when that feeling of numbness comes once you release those difficult emotions, those complex emotions which are lying buried in your subconscious mind. So the first foundation remains that there has to be identification, acceptance from the narcissistic end, and acceptance that yes, I want to go for self-therapy. Now, after this, she says that we have these prominent 7 chakras. We have several chakras, some of them are less prominent, but the prominent 7 chakras that we have is they start from our lower spine and go up to our crown. So from the lower part we have root chakra, then we have the second chakra, which is sacral chakra, then below the chest area we have, in the center we have solar plexus chakra, and then heart chakra, throat chakra, we have this third eye chakra and crown chakra. Now, as per Kristina Lopez, there is a dysfunction in our solar plexus chakra if we are diagnosed with narcissistic disorder, or even if we are not diagnosed, if we ourselves observe high spectrum of narcissistic traits in our personality, then there is a dysfunction in the solar plexus chakra, which is right below the chest area. As in, if we have dysfunction in any of these 7 chakras, we are going to face difficulty in loving ourselves and also in having healthy relationships with people outside. Now, because this video is not about balancing all the 7 chakras, maybe in some other video I can take that up. Here in this case, I am only concentrating my efforts on narcissistic characters, and therefore only on solar plexus chakra, heart chakra and sacral chakra. Not specifically sacral chakra, but yes, heart chakra and solar plexus chakra. Now, as per Kristina Lopez, solar plexus chakra is a bright yellow kind of, we all know what is the meaning of chakra. It is a round, it is something which is round in color. So these chakras are one above the other. If there is a dysfunction, they are not properly aligned, or if the chakra itself is blocked, in that case what happens is building healthy relationships with people becomes a very difficult task. So in case of narcissism, what happens is this solar plexus chakra is too expanded. There are 2 ways the chakras can be dysfunctional. Either they can be too expanded or they can be too contracted. Now, solar plexus chakra, if it is too expanded, what happens is there is false sense of self-worth in the individual. False sense of self-worth in the sense the person feels grandiose, he feels next to God, he feels high sense of grandiosity and superiority, and he thinks that it's all about me. So it's all about I, me and myself. The more this chakra is expanded, the more it sucks energy out of the heart chakra and sacral chakra. So what happens is the chakras next to solar plexus chakra, they become dysfunctional. See how it is? Because one chakra is dysfunctional, it is squeezing energy from the lower chakra as well as from the upper chakra, and that is why those chakras are also getting dysfunctional. And that is why in case of narcissistic personality disorder person, what happens is the heart chakra becomes very contracted, because this is acting as a black hole. As a black hole, it is squeezing constantly, it is squeezing energy from the heart chakra and it is squeezing energy from the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is responsible for our sexuality, and that is why you'll find most of the narcissistic people high in sexual intimacy. They only can develop relationship at a superficial level, that is at a sexual level, and developing relationship at the heart level, at deep bonding is not possible for them. And that is why she says that you need to work on your solar plexus chakra. That is again going for the spiritual practice, and in the spiritual practice she recommends that you do the breath work, sincere breath work, meditation. In the meditation you take deep breaths, and with each breath you can command to your solar plexus chakra you can set your intentions, in the sense you can lovingly command your solar plexus chakra to decrease in size and come to the normal size. So she says that, she gives a mantra that you can say that I would lovingly command my solar plexus chakra to come back to its normal size. And she says that these chakras, they actually listen, and they actually listen to these commands, and you can see results in your own personality. I have seen in case of my own over empathetic and codependency attitude, because mine was too contracted. I could feel it. Initially you may not feel, but gradually once you get a hang of the meditative technique, proper meditative technique, you start seeing, you can visualize your chakra as being a yellow color kind of energetic field, which is either blocked or which is either expanded. And once you visualize it and you give a loving command to it to expand or to contract, it starts giving you the result. And apart from this, she says that as a narcissist, because the chakra dysfunction also because of the sucking of the energy from the heart chakra also results in bringing a lot of dysfunction in the heart chakra. So after you give command to your solar plexus chakra, you should also give command to the heart chakra to heal itself and to open up. So here you are asking it to close and contract, and in case of heart chakra, you're asking it to expand and heal. The solution I have given in both the cases, in whether it is medical science or whether it is spirituality, I believe that again repeating the same thing, that in case of spirituality, not everybody would like to believe that. In fact, few years back, even I wouldn't have believed, because I was not a spiritual person. I was not even a religious person. But sometimes life pushes you into certain directions where you think that it doesn't take a penny to try this out, and once you try, you see the results, you start getting that feel that now it's high time that you must educate people about it. Otherwise I wouldn't have been doing this channel. The reason that I'm doing this is because somehow deep within me I want that the kind of benefits that I have derived through all these knowledge, through this medical knowledge as well as the spiritual knowledge, I would like to educate more and more people around me, so that they build healthy relationships. It is so important. We all crave love. We all are wired to be attached to people. We all are born to be loved. So why not? Why should we get into unhealthy relationships? Why should we plug into wrong relationships? Why should we ourselves remain damaged and wounded? So if it helps you, I'm sure giving it a try is not bad. So whether it is going to a psychotherapist, taking certain sessions genuinely and seriously, if that might help, why not? If you think that spiritual practice on your own, self-therapy, which is known as self-therapy, can help, why not do that? I have done it in case of codependency and I have seen results. I no longer feel awkward or guilty in saying no to people. I don't like to please people now. It's all about loving myself first and loving myself genuinely. I don't seek love outside now. So I have seen the results. Rest is up to you. I am sure I could add some knowledge to the already existing plethora of knowledge that every viewer has. I would like to hear from you. I would like to get your feedback. If you do this, please put in the comments box what you feel about these two opinions that I have given. Hope to see you again. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace, love and light.